Hello, this is Michael Witness. This is my first video, so you'll have to excuse me. I'll be looking down, up and down between the camera lens itself and my notes and everything that I have on my computer. But for the most part, I started this little channel up because I got tired of all the atheist videos saying calling us out and saying things like marijuana should be legalized and Jesus should be outlawed. Well, and everybody wants to call on bad examples on religion and say these are the reasons why we should be outlawed and everything else. And just because one person has a bad idea about the things doesn't necessarily mean the whole does. You're not going to throw away an entire bushel of apples just because you find one bad one. You're going to pick through and find the right ones and leave the bad one to rot to become food for something else. But this video is mainly in response to ZOMGitscriss. I made a response to someone else who had made a video called the Atheist Challenge, and it had several questions for atheists to answer and everything else. And some of the questions I thought were really well put, and others I thought were inconsequential, that had no relation to the subject of what the meaning of the whole challenge was. So what I did was I took ZOMGitscriss, or Chris for short. I took Chris's questions and kind of done away with the ones I thought were inconsequential, and I addressed the ones that I thought were actually relevant to the whole situation. So bear with me. Here we go. I'm going to take you on a little trip, and hopefully by the end of this you'll have a better understanding of Christianity and God and Jesus Christ himself. Okay, first off, the first question: where do you get your morality, and please explain your morality? Now, I've watched a lot of videos about, in response to this. One of them was The Amazing Atheist, and another one was, well, of course, Chris. And the responses seem to be very level across the board. They completely try to avoid explaining morality in its part, but at the same time they explain morality and then they say, well, that's not the meaning of morality. It's really weird. You really got to watch his Amazing Atheist's video about this. I highly recommend it. He kind of gives you a nice perspective on different belief systems and everything else. Also, Chris also gave an example, and these are the examples and all her questions and everything else I'm going to be answering today. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. If I do that again, just smack me in the back of the head. That's fine. Okay, again, the question was, where do you get your morality, and please explain your morality? Okay, a couple big things that she said in there. One, it's based on reason. Okay, well, I can kind of see that. And then it kind of goes on. She doesn't want to live in a world where rape and murder were permissible. Well, it's understandable, and I don't think I would either. And she goes on to say another point of hers on that question was she doesn't want to be cheated on, ergo she's not going to cheat on someone. Well, that's great. Okay, but one thing Chris failed to do was explain where her morality comes from, and I think that was the main part of the question. She goes on, and let me kind of explain this. Okay, all right. First off, based on reason. That's true. Morality is based on reason, because morality is essentially the knowledge between right and wrong. Now, what our brain does is it takes all of our influences, our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, whoever we met, our uncles, our aunts, or whoever we're close to, our friends, our family, anybody. anybody in around us that's close to us. That's where we get most of our influence from. Then we have our secondary influences, like the media, music, video games, that kind of thing. They don't make up a big part of who we are, but at the same time, it kind of makes us who we are. To explain that, I'm not saying music, video games, and all that is directly responsible for all the murders and rapes and everything that's out in the world. No, that's not what I'm saying. We project who we want to be into these media, into the video games, into videos, news, and everything else, and unfortunately, people's different perspectives of what morality is what skews it all. Let's see. Okay, well, let me go back to Chris's little example. She doesn't want to be cheated on, ergo, she will not cheat on someone. Perfect example. Okay. Everybody can, pick this book up right here, the Holy Bible here. This is a new one I picked up. It's the New International Version. It was published a couple years ago. I've had it for maybe less than a week. Let's see. The first example in here I'm going to give you about morality is exactly what Chris just said. The golden rule, Matthew 7:12. So in everything do unto others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. So right there it says, hey, look, if you don't want something done to you, don't do it to somebody else. Okay, you don't want to be shot, don't shoot somebody else. You don't want to be stolen from, don't steal from somebody else. It's really simple in its explanation. It's simplistic and it expands on everything. Okay, she doesn't want to be cheated on, ergo, she's not going to cheat. Guess where she got that from? That's right. Her influences, her parents, her grandparents. Because guess what? If you want to trace it back, guess what? People moved to this country to gain religious freedom, and I don't think she's in the United States. I think she has a very good grasp of the English language, but I don't know if she's in the United States because I didn't really try to look at her location. But who we are makes up, is just all part of all different types of things, our outside influences and everything else, and whether you want to believe it or not, everything can go back to this. Okay, so where do you get your morality? And please explain your morality. Do unto others. There you go. There's your first question right there.